It's okay to feel discouraged, but don't stay discouraged or downcast. Neither let it stop you from fulfilling or carrying out God's purposes or intents in and through you in that season, in that moment. As I read through the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 6, it says, "But God who comforts the downcast comforted us by the coming of Titus." And that struck me because even the us was inclusive of Apostle Paul. And I'm like, Apostle Paul, discouraged. That tells you that at some point in your life, for whatever reason, discouragement might come in, might set in. But for Paul, that even though it's feeling that way, he still went on doing whatever he wanted or whatever God would have him do in those moments. He pushed through those feelings, right? He didn't let it cripple him and overwhelm him or cripple him to the point that he just stayed in that state. The same thing too with David. Remember how David, was Ziklag was invaded, I think by the Amalekites or the enemies or so. The Bible says David cried. He cried, including his men who were also, victims. They cried. But at some point, the Bible says David encouraged himself in the Lord. For David to encourage himself in the Lord, it shows that he was discouraged, but he realized that no, I can't stay in this moment. I can't let this temporary feeling become something permanent. And he encouraged himself in the Lord. And at that point, he received strength and inquired of God, God, what would you have me do? What would you have me do to get out of this situation, to push through, to move on, to find out a way out? And it was at that point that God instructed him on what to do. So, even staying rather than staying discouraged, another thing you can also do is to find strength from within you, to thank God even in the midst of the feeling of discouragement or whatever it is, and thank God. Yeah, so this is Standard Strong Podcast, communicating life values, making great impact.